Great news. Thank you, Allison. Two teenagers were arrested over the weekend after crashing a car into a house in Holyoke. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lockery spent the day in the paper city, and she joins us live in studio after getting answers from the Holyoke police chief on what led to the crash. Reagan, what did you learn?
Well, Amanda, Chief Brian Keenan tells me this crash took place around 2:45 a.m. on Saturday morning following a traffic stop and later ended in an arrest involving an illegal firearm.
In the early hours of Saturday, February 15th, Holyoke police were patrolling the area of Cabot Street when they saw a gray Acura go through a red light. Holyoke Police Chief Brian Keenan tells Western Mass News officers pulled the car over, but before they were able to step out of the cruiser, the car sped away.
Driver sped up off South Street. The officers followed him for a second, lost sight, and they didn't pursue them. The sergeant gave the order not to pursue.
But Keenan says when officers caught up with the car, they saw that the driver, a 17-year-old Holyoke girl, and her passenger, 19-year-old Shaniqua Thomas of Springfield, had crashed into a home on Northampton Street. Western Mass News stopped by the corner of Northampton Street and Westfield Road this morning to see the damage ourselves. That's where we found skid marks in the snow going through the front lawn, leading up to the front porch, where you can see some pretty significant damage. And that's where we caught up with City Councilor David Bartley at his office just about a block away from the crash scene. He shares his reaction.
Thank goodness no one was hurt, including the alleged perpetrators, and thank goodness the officers, and thank goodness the residents in the house. Can you imagine in your house at 2:45 a.m., whatever it was, and have a car crash through? So that is very atypical for the Elmwood section of Holyoke.
Keenan tells me at the time of the arrest, police found a Sig Sauer 9mm handgun loaded with 7 rounds of ammunition inside a black purse in plain sight right in the back seat of the car. He says the gun was not reported stolen, but neither women have a license to carry. Both teens were ultimately arrested.
Just the fact that juveniles and young adults are riding around with firearms in their car presents a danger not just to the police officers but to the general public.
But Keenan has this message for the community.
I'd like to let the residents of Holyoke know that your police officers are working very hard for you. While you're sleeping at night, 2:45 in the morning, they're out patrolling, they're out trying to keep your neighborhood safe.
Again, nobody in the home or in the car was seriously injured. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Lockery for Western Mass News.
All right, Reagan, thank you. We have an update on a story